Hey, what's up, horror fans? Welcome to the R-rated horror commentary podcast, episode 16. Tonight's movie will be
Poltergeist.
Tonight we have a special guest on the channel. It's Eric Harrison from the Death Twitch channel on YouTube. I highly recommend checking out his videos and his horror movie reviews. They're excellent, and he's just an all-around good stand-up guy, man. We had a good time hanging out and having fun, having some laughs, so yeah. You'll definitely enjoy this one for sure. An average suburban family cross a frightening new threshold, encountering forces which baffle science, defy reason, and turn the once peaceful lives of a normal American family into an existence that must be experienced to believe. Cool. Alright, hey, what's up, guys? It's Friday night, and you know what that means? It's commentary time, and doing a fucking awesome movie tonight. As I said, it's going to be Poltergeist from 1982, and I also have a special guest commentator tonight, Eric Harris from the Death Twitch channel on YouTube. What's up, Eric?
What up? Okay, first of all, can I just say that you just called me Eric Harris, and that was one of the Columbine killers.
What? I did?
My name is Eric Harrison. Please do not confuse me.
Oh, dude, I know your name. I don't know why the fuck
murderer.
I said that. I'm sorry, dude. Sorry.
Anyway, what's up? Yeah, great to be here.
It's because I just pounded like 5 beers in a row.
You don't want to get on... My name is... you don't want to get on my bad side. Part of the Trenchcoat Mafia.
Yeah, dude, I'm so sorry. Eric Harrison, of course. I'm such a moron sometimes. But, yeah, he's gonna join in tonight. It's just the two of us. We're gonna watch Poltergeist from 1982. We, definitely think this movie fucking kicks ass, so it should be a blast. It's a sweet collaboration between Spielberg and Tobe Hooper, who is probably best known for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, horror classic. And, yeah, man, like, what's your thoughts on this movie? Like, do you rate it as high as I do? I mean, do you think it's a horror classic?
Well, I consider it one of the better supernatural movies, for sure. You know, paranormal kind of movies. Because I'm not into that whole genre so much, but this is a really solid movie.
Yeah, dude, it definitely has a tone to it that's very unique to a very, like, specific time and space, you know? It's very 80s. But it gives it a lot of charm. I mean, it's not your ordinary haunted house movie. I don't think that you can really capture this kind of movie easily, as they've shown with the remake from, a couple years ago or last year, which was terrible, right? I mean, did you ever get around to seeing that one?
No, I've seen some of the scenes, but I mean, I just don't care. They just remake movies just to cash in on the title.
Yeah,
so
absolutely, dude. You did not miss anything at all.
I don't feel a big draw to seeing remakes most of the time.
Yeah, usually I go see them just out of some sort of morbid curiosity. I mean, I know that's what definitely dragged me to the theater to see the Ghostbusters reboot, which I walked out on, but I don't want to get into that because that's a whole can of worms.
Let's not open that one. That's Pandora's box.
Yeah.
You can't put that back in the box.
Oh man, I'm actually thinking about doing a commentary on that just to come to grips with it, just to, I don't know, to maybe understand the fiasco better, because I'm still kind of spinning like a top confused about why that even happened. But as stated, this movie kind of looks and feels, it's still really incredible, and the effects hold up really great. So I'm excited to watch, man. Are you all queued up and ready to go?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Let's watch some Poltergeist.
Awesome. I'm gonna count it down. When I say play, hit play, and we'll get started. So in 3, 2, 1, and play.
By the way, for the viewers out there that want to watch along, we were just totally synced up to the MGM logo right at the beginning, as you would expect at the beginning.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I should have mentioned that. Yeah, we were about maybe 2 seconds into the MGM logo, so.
I like the titles. So simple. But like,
yeah,
that's their Poltergeist. They even use that font on the posters and everything.
Yeah, that font, I've never seen it used in anything else before, so it definitely Somehow it oddly gives you a flavor of what's to come already, and then when it leads in to the movie with the national anthem, I don't know. I think was a really interesting choice, man. I mean, most horror movies wouldn't do that. Like, I mean, obviously they're leading into the TV motif, and I remember those days where like you'd be up late at night watching the old boob tube, and around 1 o'clock in the morning, it would just shut off and there'd just be static. And that was
you
scary
might want to
as shit.
explain that to some of your viewers that the TV used to turn off and
I
there was
know.
nothing you could do about it.
I know, right?
And now there's 3,000 channels of jack shit.
Yeah, now it's never ending, but
all the time, 24/7.
Yeah, back in those days, man, it was just like, 4 channels, and then when they were done, and it was just like, that's it, you're shit out of luck. Time to go read a comic book or something. But there was 2 things that always scared me about TV. It was just like that static after the end credits, the national anthem played, and then remember those like crazy emergency warnings with that weird odd tone? Like that would scare the shit out of me too.
Yeah, that would happen
reason.
Kind of often. I can hear myself, by the way. Is that a problem?
I don't think so. Shouldn't be.
Okay. Just checking. It kind of sounds like I'm in the Poltergeist zone where you kind of hear that weird echoey effect.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're recording your own track, it should be fine. I mean, you should be able to hear me on Skype. I hear you,
This is a well-trained dog.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say this is an awesome way, too, to introduce everybody. Just kind of have the dog.
Yeah, it's totally, everything is so Spielberg that I don't think Tobe Hooper was on set a lot of the time.
Yeah, I've heard so many different opinions about that Spielberg wanted to do a horror movie. And
it's cool that it's something that we can still talk about all this time later, though.
Yeah, I mean, I actually heard a Spielberg interview where he actually says, yes, I was there, I was meddling, I was involved, but Tobe Hooper is the director of this movie. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he's saying. I think he actually put an ad in the paper that said, Tobe Hooper is the director of this movie. I think he was just kind of a guiding hand stylistically,
Well, I'm of the camp that I truly believe Steven Undercover directed this movie. I think he wanted to, but he had obligations with E.T. I really believe that, but that's my call, I guess. That's what art is all about.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Who knows? I mean, it could have been something in the middle, 50-50, where he was, they were both kind of.
I don't see any Tobe Hooper in this movie.
That's
like
true.
None. I'm wondering, how would he have gone why would he just channel Steven Spielberg's style and not put in his own touches?
Well, I have this theory that Spielberg really wanted it to look and feel a certain way because these are memories sort of for him. Like, this is was sort of his baby because a lot of this was sort of based off of his childhood fears. So it was near and dear to his heart. But, I mean, Tobe Hooper, for all intents, I mean, if you look at Chainsaw Massacre 2, it doesn't look like the first one, does it? I mean,
yeah, it's pretty messy,
yeah,
but in a different way.
Right.
I think you're saying is whatever. There's somebody's name that's on this movie, and we have to respect that.
Right.
So I try. I really try. Toby, you made a great movie, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really read anything about his, his opinions on the matter. He's, as far as I know, he hasn't really said anything about it. So,
yeah, he's been very quiet.
Yeah, I
mean,
he's
the one person that hasn't said something about it. Even the cast has talked about it, and they've all split too. Half of them say Toby, and the other half says Steven.
Yeah, well, half of them are dead, but oh shit.
Maybe that's why that's why there's a curse. It's to silence those who speak out about
that's right.
The conspiracy of Poltergeist.
It's a big Spielberg conspiracy.
It is.
But I think the one person that you would not want to contradict in Hollywood or talk shit about would be Steven Spielberg. Even in '84, when he was still getting started, he was already a star.
At this point, you get like one warning from Spielberg. So you get
Yeah,
your
right.
one mistake, but that's it. You don't talk shit after that.
Yeah, I read his biography, man, and it's really interesting. But he, I kind of wonder sometimes, like, because he comes off as such a nice dude, but you wonder if there's like a dark side to Spielberg where he's like super controlling and manipulative of people, you know?
He'd have to be really on the ball because nobody has ever said a bad thing about him being as far as how he treats people. As far as I've
Yeah.
never heard, like, unless he's got the best lawyer ever, and I guess he does. His name's Bruce, apparently.
Yeah, he seems like a legit guy, but you always just have to wonder about somebody who's too nice. I guess that's just the way I'm wired.
Too nice.
Dude, this guy's like totally me, dude. I would totally be like riding up the street with a fucking 12-pack of beer. And shit.
Oh, I've done this. Like, more times than I would care to admit, really.
Dude, I would fucking kick those kids in the teeth, dude. I would be pissed. You fuck with my swag, dude.
I know, right? Look at all that wasted beer. Oh, those kids be buying me another 12-pack.
Dude, I would be like pounding those half-emptied beers on the street, probably.
I have all these locations marked on Google Maps in case I ever get to go.
Oh yeah, man. There's a part of me that really wishes I had grown up in Northern California. Every time I watch like E.T. and this movie, it's like it just seems like the perfect way to grow up, in like a suburban, upper middle class neighborhood, and it's always sunny, that kind of thing. Like I grew up in the Midwest in Louisville, which was nice, but I don't know, you just romanticize ideas in your head, so.
Well, it's, I don't know if I can vouch for the people, but the weather's pretty nice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But, I've grew up in Texas and Arizona mostly. I'm used to the desert.
Yeah, that dry heat and shit.
It's dry in Arizona. It's really humid in Texas. It's like it's more unbearable than a dry heat when it's just soaking you wet. Like it's just
Yeah. Yeah, I lived in Hawaii for a while, so I know about being soaking wet all the time. And not in like a perverted way.
Nah. It's so it's humid there?
Yeah, dude, it's like 95 and swampy, dude. Like it's all about chafing out there, man. So
Oh no.
I like these little like character identifying scenes that don't really add anything, in terms of story, but they just sort of show you who the characters are. And
Sure, and
Craig T. Nelson plays a really great father figure, I think. And
it's showing us the neighborhood because in a way the neighborhood is a kind of a character, not as much as it could be, and I think that when they were in the screenwriting stage they probably toned that down. But what are the odds that isn't this whole neighborhood built on, spoiler alerts, some kind of a bad spot, right? But why is it so concentrated on just their house?
yeah, I was wondering that too. Yeah,
Is it only their house
yeah, as far as I know,
that's built on the thing, or what?
no, it was implied later in the movie that the developer guy basically just moved all the headstones, didn't move the graveyard. So it would cover at least one neighborhood block or something. But for some reason, the evil is just concentrated on this one house around the tree or something.
And it's just the just the fact that the guy that lives in the one house that's haunted is the guy that's selling the houses in the neighborhood. That's hilarious.
Yeah, right. I guess that's just why it implodes, because it's just like this portal of evil. It's the heart of the evil, Oh, another spoiler. Sorry about that, but you have to assume like 30 fucking years later, if everybody's seen this movie, so
You'd think so. Not everybody has though, but hopefully people watch it on their own. Well, that's not true. I guess there's some movies if I didn't care about, I would totally watch it with somebody's commentary.
I have to assume that the average probably like 15 to 18-year-old that would watch this commentary doesn't give a fuck about these movies anyway. Because
they're probably just laughing about the style and oh, they didn't have cell phones back then. What a bunch of assholes.
Exactly.
while they're tweeting and sexting on Snapchat at the same time.
Exactly. I just on for background noise, you know?
Right. Totally. Just to make fun of us for being old.
Who are these, like, old people? Turn it off.
I used to look like that kid.
Yeah, me too. I used to dress like that too, dude. I think my parents bought all my clothes at Kmart. All that generic 80s shit.
Straight up Kmart. Everything was got at Kmart. Now Kmart doesn't even exist.
Kmart didn't have the stigma on it that it did, you know, like later on. Like, you know, it was just, hey, fucking cheap clothes, you know?
Now I'm sad for Kmart.
Yeah, they're going bye-bye soon, I have a feeling.
Yeah, there's like 4 left in the nation. So.
Did your parents ever do this with you? Like bury your pet in the garden and stuff? Like
Kind of, yeah, sometimes. We had rabbits, and they would have babies and then just eat the babies all the time. And I was a little kid, and I was like, "What? Stop doing that! That's messed up." It was kind of troubling.
My God.
So we stopped having rabbits after that.
That is fucked up, man.
Because they wouldn't stop doing it. I was just like, dude, I'm a little kid. I'm trying to like enjoy life, not see this macabre, horrific act by this cute bunny. Like,
Yeah, dude, that could explain a lot of things about you, I have a feeling.
it might.
Watching like little bunny rabbits being cannibalized.
This is like a therapy session right now. I'm gonna be born again after this.
I know, dude. That's why these things
I might cry. I might cry.
That's okay, dude. You can cry. You can cry. It's okay.
Fucking bunnies, man.
I'll just name this one the one where Death Twitch cries.
Yeah, you'll get ratings. First, they'll make fun of me for being old in the 80s, and then they'll make fun of me for crying.
You know what's interesting, dude, is that I can relate to these crazy, like, irrational fears as a child, like the creepy tree out the window kind of thing. I definitely experienced some of that. Or just even, like, looking out the window on a dark night or something and just looking out into the woods or what trees are out in your yard. It just has that psychological effect on you. And it's really interesting that Spielberg pulled that into the forefront as almost like a character in this movie, you know? It's really interesting. It's cool, you know? I mean, even the tree, I think, was done pretty well. I mean, not great, but good for the time, you know?
Yeah. It's all pretty cool. Man, he was making movies since he was a kid in like Scottsdale and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Arizona. So like I'm sure he would probably had been dreaming about all the scary stuff he could film like at some point. He probably had plenty of time to really think up all this stuff.
For sure. I mean, the guy really is a visionary type of dude, you know?
As a kid that just watched horror and indiscriminately and nobody filtered it for me, I was just always afraid of Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. Like, fuck the tree outside. I was really afraid that Jason was going to bust through my door the way he always busts through doors. It's like, as like a 6-year-old in my bed every night, I just staring at the door waiting for Jason to bust in.
I definitely can relate to that dude because I had similar vibes, but it was just him. Like, you know the scene in part 5 where Tommy looks down in the yard, he sees him?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that I was terrified of. So, yeah, I definitely had that Friday the 13th psychosis going on, too. But
and I loved it and was so scared at the same time, though.
Yeah, it was like it's just like one of those things where like you're infatuated with the fear involved. You know, I think that's one of the things that creates us horror fans is that sort of dichotomy between the fear and infatuation of death and a morbid curiosity, but there are also these funny kind of tongue-in-cheek movies, some of them anyway, depending on the franchise, but the entertainment value involved, and yeah, I mean, it's horror movies are awesome, dude. They're fun. I wish they could make some good ones nowadays.
You and me both, dude. Even when I talk to the younger kids, even they think a lot of horror these days sucks. Every time I talk about it with people out in public, like, just I bring up horror, it comes up, they're like, man, horror these days is no good. I'm like, yeah, I know, right? But I would have thought people would have, like, people growing up in it, I would have that they think it's good, but apparently most of them don't even like it. A lot of people look back to the 80s as, like, the golden times for horror.
Yeah, dude, it's weird because, like, I think people kind of regard, even Hollywood, kind of regard horror movies as a black sheep of the genres. And it's like, this is a perfect example of why it's not. You know, this is such a fucking epic movie.
And that makes no sense either, because every actor gets their start in a horror movie, and a lot of directors as well. Horror is like, and it always makes money, even when they put the shit out. People still go and see it. I don't understand why it's the black sheep. It makes no sense to me.
It really taps into something in our psyches. People love to be scared, dude. I don't understand why they shit on it. You know?
Yeah, I don't know either.
But
I know that Craig T. Nelson wasted a lot of weed on the fucking bed there. That kind of
I was just gonna say,
actually.
dude. I was just gonna say, like, dude stepping on a fucking dime bag right now. Like,
exactly. He doesn't even care. That's drug abuse.
Really interesting, important scene because it really sets up the whole like mindset and tone of these two characters, the parents. Because, you know, you kind of get the feeling, the vibe that they're kind of maybe these like old school, kind of half-assed hippies or whatever that kind of bought into selling out in the 80s and wanted to raise a family, but they still kind of toke up on the Friday night or something, and it shows how they interact together, which is really charming, and it definitely is not as present in the other
I would
movies
imagine
franchise.
that back in the day in the theater, there was probably a lot of giggles and snickers from parents in the audience because they likely were going to go home and do the same thing once the kids were asleep.
Absolutely. And that was like a really risky move on Spielberg's part or Cooper's part.
For real, yeah. You know what? Luckily, they still didn't have like a PG-13, I think, at this time.
Yeah, I think he managed to finagle a PG rating out of this somehow.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty. Yeah, you couldn't get away with that now, which is weird because the standards of everything is all backwards. It's really backwards. Like they'll just. It makes no sense. I talk about this like if it's an action movie, they don't care how much gore is in it. But if it's a horror movie, you got to cut that shit out. Like what?
Yeah, it seems to be a lot about the context, you know. But it seems like it's always kind of morphing and changing and evolving, you know.
It is, but like in ways that I feel like doesn't make sense because, like, with the way movies are now, as violent as they can be, and yet they by yesterday's standards, Hostel or Saw should be NC-17.
Yeah, I'm more attracted to like these types of horror movies, or like say the Freddy's and Jasons versus just straight up shock gore movies. I mean, I can appreciate those as well as part of the genre, but I don't get as much pleasure as watching those because I'm not into the sadistic nature of some of those movies where it's just like say for instance like Centipede, the Human Centipede or something. The first one is passable. Second one is just straight up brutality, and it's just almost more like an exploitation film than it is like an actual movie with characters and that appeal in some way, you know? If that makes any sense. I don't know if I stated myself very well there, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I never watched them, and I agree with you about all of that because the shock value movies I don't care about. I can appreciate the effects, and that's it because that's all it has to offer.
Right.
That's what's sad.
Right.
I'd rather have something with substance, even if it's a bad movie. Some bad movies can be good in their own way, so bad they're good. But like when it's just about let's make the audience as uncomfortable as possible, and that's all we have to offer. Nah, no thanks.
Yeah, it's got to have heart. If it has some heart in it, or even some campy. I don't know, something about those '80s campy movies. Even when they're bad, they're still really appealing because they're just kind of fun. Like the fun factor takes over the gore factor. Yeah. You know.
I wonder, like, and this is something I have been wondering lately. I'm like, is it just nostalgia, or is even bad older movies still better than most movies today? It's weird because, like, dude, I can watch a bad '80s movie and no matter what, but when I watch like a bad modern movie, I always just shut it off. I can't even make it through.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, man. There was just something special about the '80s time in cinema, that it just painted everything with a certain brush, a certain tone, a certain feel, and you just can't really recapture that. And I mean, we were talking about Freddy's Dead earlier, you know, it's just like, I don't think it's necessarily only nostalgia, seeing it through our own lens, because, you know, we went back and we watched Freddy's Dead, and it's like, oh, well, that didn't really hold up. Now, of course, that is 90s technically, but,
Yeah.
you know, not all of them make it through, make the cut.
What do you think about 90s horror?
There's some good stuff in there, dude. I mean, I'm actually warming up to it a bit more, because I think I'm a little rigid when it comes to the movies that I really, really love close to my heart. But I'm starting to explore some of those movies and enjoy them more, you know? So, I mean, yeah, they had their own thing going on, you know? The Final Destinations, the Scream. Scream was amazing, I thought, for at least a couple movies. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely some passable flicks in that era, for sure.
It has a different. They have a different vibe to them, though. For sure, like I can spot a '90s horror movie just from the production value of it. I can be like, oh, this was made in the '90s for sure.
Well, one dead giveaway is that everybody's really pretty. You know, everybody
super, looks like Dawson's
attractive.
Creek.
Yeah. Dawson's Creek, or they're fresh out of a fucking boy band or some shit, you know?
Right.
But that was just what was really popular, I think.
We're getting all off track, but...
No, that's okay. We can go off on tangents. Whatever it takes to get through this. But...
I like that. You know what? I was excited when the slasher was resurrected for like 2 weeks in the 90s because of Scream. I was so excited, and I wish that had lasted. I guess we got, you know, I Know What You Did Last Summer out of it. So, and Urban Legend and shit like that.
I didn't mind the Final Destinations were partly 90s, late 90s, right?
I think that was 99. Yeah. I don't know when Jeepers Creepers was. 2001? Or maybe it was in the 90s. I can't even remember.
Actually, you might be right. I think that might have been early 2000s, but it still had the stink of the 90s on it, I have a feeling.
It's so sad, like, that how many people in this movie are no longer with us.
No, dude, it's just so bizarre. It's just one of those things like the Exorcist curse. It's just like...
Yeah.
Is that just the nature of life, or was there something really janky going on with this movie, you know?
You know what? I am still finding out facts about the goddamn Exorcist and their curse. I just found out something new the other day. It just never stops. There's a serial killer in that movie. I never knew that.
That's right, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, somebody plays an extra or something. Turned out to be a serial killer.
So fucking... And then, you know, Dominic Dunn from this movie, the teenage daughter... Yeah. Strangled to death by her boyfriend, like, it's the same year this came out, dude. You know?
Yeah, I think it was like weeks after the movie came out or something. For like 2 months after, something like that.
Yeah, it's just...
But, you know, stuff like that, especially when it comes to The Exorcist, is like... I want to review that movie, but I'm also hesitant because I don't want to inherit the curse.
You don't want to bring that stink on you? Yeah.
I don't. Like, I want to review the movie, but I'm kind of afraid. Like, for real, though.
I feel you, man. I mean, I'm definitely was never one of those kids who, like, ran around graveyards, like, disrespectfully, you know, whatever, lounging around a graveyard. I mean, I am somewhat superstitious, I guess. I mean... A little bit, you know, you kind of have to question, is there something really there? And this is a great scene. Like, this is a great scene where they plow over the dead bird in the box. It's like, it just shows that they have no respect for, you know, death and the they just desecrate the dead. And that's a good precursor to what really the movie's about. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I definitely don't like to step on anybody's grave, you know what I'm saying? And I really think that, like, it's just really a matter of, like, people kind of seeing what they want to see. You know, like, it's a creepy movie, and some people died that were in the movie under, you know, strange circumstances, but I think those sort of things just kind of happen in life, and I don't really think, you know, there's too much to it, but...
I don't really think it's. You know what? As far as the curse thing goes, I will give it to Exorcist because I kind of really feel like that movie might have channeled some kind of evil, but I don't really believe that Poltergeist is cursed. It was unfortunate coincidences, I think.
Right, right. Nothing happens to anybody else in the movie. Everybody else is fine, like everybody goes on with their life. Joe Beth Williams and Craig T. Nelson and Spielberg, it's just a couple, unfortunately, a couple of the cast.
Too many, coincidences in one set, a film. So everybody's like, "Ooh, it's cursed," and it was a horror movie. So you can use that, you can spin that for advertisement purposes or whatever. And somebody in Hollywood would have.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know. Even in the 80s, yeah, I guess they were kind of exploitative even back then. But
absolutely. I'm not even calling out names. I'm not even saying like that's something that Tobe Hooper or Spielberg would do, but like the marketing people or probably somebody in the studio would try and put out a little rumor like, hey, spread this around, there's a curse.
Yeah. I don't even really think this movie needed the help, dude, because it was just, it did... really, really well. Even in the face of E.T., it did well.
It did, and you know why? Because it's like it's showing us suburban life at its peak.
Yeah,
and Western civilization, like the thing that all the audiences could, absolutely relate to. I know I did. I felt like my neighborhood specifically like. Right after I saw this movie, I moved to a neighborhood that was kind of like this, and I felt like, and whenever I would watch it, I'd feel like I'm there.
Yeah,
I can relate to this.
Oh, and Eric, speaking of fucking creepy curse, there's LG from fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, right? The Teamster guy. He fucking ended up getting murdered at a bar or something, like a couple decades later. But he fucking met his demise. Getting stabbed in a parking lot of a bar or something.
God damn. I'm glad I didn't work on this movie.
Oh my god, should we be reviewing this now? Like maybe we'll fucking invoke the curse on us for reviewing this movie.
Yeah, I've reviewed it. You know what though? Like when that was when I hit the wall on my channel. After 3 years of gleefully working constantly on the Death Twitch is when I was reviewing the Poltergeist is when I started getting tired of the whole process. So it really is cursed.
Well, yeah, there you go, man. To the detriment of us all.
Damn this movie!
I like how there's a big, like, fucking Poltergeist shit stain on the wall right there. Like, she didn't notice that. She didn't see it. By the way, how fucking sexy is Joe Beth Williams in this movie, dude? Even with her fucking chicken legs, like, she's pretty fucking cute, dude.
I've always looked at her as a mom my whole life. I can't even.
Oh, come on, you're a MILF lover, you know it.
She's my mom. I can't say that about mom.
I have a weakness for brown-haired ladies.
Especially the fact that my mom literally would dress in that exact clothing, and the hair would be similar. How back in the 80s, my mom would wear her makeup and she had short hair a lot in such a way that she often looked like Jamie Lee Curtis. So a lot of times people would be like, hey, yeah, that Jamie Lee, she was pretty hot. And I'm just like, yeah, but look like my mom.
You get slightly offended. You're like, don't be talking about my mom.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could see that, but...
Like, my mom would have worn that exact shirt. I feel like she owned that shirt and those shorts. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah. She is a little, coming up a little short in the backside area, too, if you know what I mean.
They didn't have that booty in the 80s. They didn't have enough booty for those shorts.
Nobody gave a shit about ass back in the 80s. It was all about the boobs. I
like how we're not talking about this awesome scene. We're talking about ass.
Hey, man, priorities,
That's nobody tuned in to hear about our critique of the movie's finer points. It's about booty.
That fucking shit's fucking over. It's so overdone, dude. Come on.
It's about that 80s ass.
It's all about the 80s ass.
Or the lack thereof.
Okay, I'll throw a little bit of trivia in there. I guess Spielberg wanted Barrymore for the role of Carol Ann, and well,
She was
he
working on
considered her
something,
for
right?
the role, and I guess she wasn't quote unquote angelic enough, so he actually ran into Heather O'Rourke in like the commissary on the set or something, and she auditioned and kind of fucking blew the audition, but came back and
I
then
think, but he had her in E.T., so could that have also been a problem?
well, what it was
Because
is that
he was making E.T. at the same time.
yeah, but they weren't filming yet. So what happened was they were still casting during the filming of this movie,
Oh,
and because Drew Barrymore actually auditioned for this movie, she didn't get the role, but that's what got her the role in E.T.
oh, that's right. You're refreshing my memory now.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Hey, no problem. I mean, I absorbed a lot of information about it when I reviewed it, but that was like a while back. I've lost a few bits.
Well, that's why I write shit down like a fucking nerd. Dude, I have the worst memory of anybody. But yeah, this is an ILM film, and you could tell there's a lot of like awesome matte paintings in it and shit. Like some of the
Yeah.
effects don't really hold up, but even though they're kind of cheesy, they're still fucking awesome in the way they're shot and stuff, you know?
I don't even look down on anything in this movie just because I have so much respect for practical effects, especially when they were at their peak, when people cared about it. Before things became easier with computers.
Yeah. When you had to actually work for it.
When Hollywood saw that frontier of like, you mean we could shoot on a green screen and just have somebody type it all in? That's
Yeah.
when movies changed for the worse. I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I know we're getting way off topic here. I loved the movie, great movie, but it just looked like a cartoon because everything was just computer painted in. It was sad. Good movie, but man, I just sat there imagining every scene that was going on. I was like, imagine if they had done this practically. They could have made a set, or they could have done miniatures. I just kept thinking about all this stuff. They could have just done this or that. No, everything's just computer painted in.
Yeah, because
Oh, well.
they don't do it because it would be incredibly expensive, whereas they can pay some computer animator $20 an hour, you know, thousands of them to just generate everything. You know, I agree it is very cartoonish and things have evolved to a different place. So I agree with you and your point being that I do appreciate
Now, I know
the
why they
effects.
do it. I know why. It's sad to me, though.
Because it's fast and cheap.
Yeah. There's an artistry, there's a craft to like, look, I've always been somebody that said, I don't hate computer graphics, but I think it has its place. You wouldn't do a movie with all miniatures. You wouldn't do a movie with like pick your effect. You wouldn't do it with all that. You mix them all up to create, you know, whatever it is you're trying to create. You don't just use one tool. That's my problem. Everybody just relying on this one tool.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, dude. I mean, I hate to invoke the name of Star Wars in this, but what Disney's doing with Star Wars, at least they're they're blending things in together. So I guess somebody's at least hearing the gripes and complaints, you know?
And I understand it's a lot more work, but that's what makes it special, dude. When you watch it and you know, like, oh my God, they must have. When you watch, like, dude, if you watch, like, The Labyrinth and stuff like that, all practical. There's no CG. And I just watched scene after scene going, holy crap, all the work and craft, the skill they put into this, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And you think about it for days afterwards. How did they do that? With the thing with the hands, that would just be CGI now. They just CGI it. And there's nothing special to it because you wouldn't go, how did they do that? You just go, oh, they CG'd it.
you could just sense something that you could actually touch, you know? No matter how good
Absolutely.
the CGI is, it never feels like something you can really hold in your hands. Mm-hmm. And, you know,
I think that younger audiences don't distinguish as much as we do because we grew up with real stuff.
Right.
In movies, as opposed to now, like I think a lot of younger kids really kind of like the CG because it's like a video game.
It's more relatable to what they grew up with, so they would understand it. You know, they don't.
Which
see
is
it
sad
as like
to me, but it is what it is.
Yeah. The only shot in this movie that didn't really hold up that well, but still really cool, is the scene where the guy peels his face off later on.
Oh yeah. It's pretty effective, but when you look at it multiple times, and you're thinking about, okay, Spielberg's down underneath the frame, reaching up. It's like it becomes pretty obvious after that.
I tell you what, though, that freaked me the fuck out as a kid, though, man. Like,
yeah,
I'd never even thought of the concept of somebody ripping off their own face before until I saw that. So,
yeah, it's pretty intense, man.
It psychologically damaged me a little bit, I think, some way.
I remember this a scene that stands out is from the second one when he drinks the tequila worm.
Yeah, for sure, dude. That's crazy,
I always remembered
too.
that scene for some reason. But everything about this, like, yeah, why would he have a creepy clown if you, you know what I'm saying? Don't own creepy toys if you don't like them. I guess maybe sometimes people just get you that stuff and it's like you have to deal with it.
Yeah, man, that's just like, I love the old Atari console there. But anyway, yeah, that's just like asking for trouble, dude. Why would you want to fucking have any sort of clown in your room at any point in time?
Did you have any toys that you got creeped out by after like the lights went on?
Oh man, no, I didn't. I mean, not even my fucking. I had that Vader case. I still have it to this day. That didn't even freak me out. But I do. This is strange. I'll, just real quick anecdote. Like when I was really, really young, on a dark and stormy night, like I would just go run into my mom's bed, like kids do. And my mom had this bureau, this really, really tall bureau. And on the very top, there was like a Barnes and Noble paper bag that had an old lady's face on it. And I can remember staring at that in like the sepia tone of the night. And this old lady was staring back at me. And I swear to God, like it was the most haunting thing ever, dude. It scared the shit out of me. This is like weird shit like that when you're like 4 or 5 years old, and your brain is playing tricks on you. I mean, that's what that's like, those memories are basically what the foundation of this kind of movie is built on,
Absolutely. Yep.
I do think the Black Tornado is a bit of a sore thumb in this movie. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Doesn't quite work.
I said like I feel like I'm pretty on board with all the effects, but that tornado was really bad.
Yeah. And why is it a tornado? And one really weird effect in this movie that stands out to me that I actually really like is all the glitter that they threw into these scenes where all the toys are getting sucked into the closet. Like, that's such a really cool practical effect that they used,
Yes. I agree.
That's
it's
one of the
cool.
things I was...
Like, when you look, if you watch like the making of or whatever, you find the behind the scenes stuff. It's so great when you see like the room that spins. They just so they could get like 10 seconds of a shot. They made a whole room to spin and shit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's just fucking great. Like they did the nightmare part. Was it the first one where they have the room that on the hydraulics where they move it around?
They do it for like a few, just for when the mom is towards the end when they think the movie's over, and then she starts flailing on the ceiling. Pre Nightmare on Elm Street, by the way.
Yeah, so they were actually I guess you would call it a progenitor of that sort of technique or something. And that's great. I love that. See, that shot's really cool with the tornado, but
look at the swing set is painted. That was literally a matte painting, though.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about that?
Fucking gorgeous, dude. I love that. I love it.
I was just talking shit about painting with computers, but they literally used to use paintings in movies.
I think those look incredible,
I think a lot of them look pretty good. Most of them look pretty... Some of them are obvious, but a lot of them look really good. It's just something... Like, it's because it's physical. There's something different about it. The craft that, like, when they do a matte painting, they have to put, like, the glass in the scene and paint on it in the scene.
Yeah, that's right. And as an artist, as a painter, I know how extremely difficult it is to paint something that realistic. that, you know, I mean, of course it's going to jump out a little bit because there's going to be always a little bit of the artist's hand in there, but that's one of those things I feel like that's an aspect of these movies where the nostalgia lens comes into play, because I don't know if somebody nowadays, a young person watching this movie, saw that and they'd be like, oh, that looks fake. But I look at that and I see that and I'm like, oh, that's a matte painting. That's really cool, because I know, like what we were saying before, was like somebody really had to fucking put their life into painting that perfectly to match up just for that one fucking scene.
Physically,
I love that.
in the reality of the set or where the location or wherever.
Right.
If that's the way they chose to do it, which a lot of the times is the way they chose to do it, would have the actual glass in the location. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And like, it's literally like you have to paint a masterpiece.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the movie. It's crazy. And like, I don't want to shit on CG artists. They can do some great stuff. I don't want to completely like sound like an asshole like that, because like it's cool. It's just I just don't want it to be overdone. And like you wouldn't do every scene with a matte painting, a physical matte painting for every location. So it's like the same with Guardians of the Galaxy or these movies that are just now CG'd in. It's like you don't need to do it that way. You can have actual locations.
Another thing about that too, dude, is that like, you know, they did matte paintings in movies very sparingly where they just absolutely could not get the shot in the old 80s.
Right.
But now
it would be very sparing.
I mean, you just look at, I just saw a behind the scenes shot of Zoe Saldana doing a scene for Guardians of Galaxy 2 online. I guess one of I guess maybe the director or something, James Gunn, posted it or something. And it was just nothing but her like running in front of a green screen. So it's just like, now everything is a painting or fabricated in the background. So it doesn't have any sort of real importance placed on it, you know? It's just another fucking matte painting done digitally in the background, you know? It doesn't have the charms to it, I guess I'm trying to say, you know?
Damn, you know what? I blame George Lucas.
Hold it down for 1 second, I'll be right back.
Sure thing. I'm going to talk to the audience. What's up, peeps? Are you enjoying our stupid conversation about anything but Poltergeist? And what's everybody enjoying out there? Do you drinking or smoking? Yeah. I think there's a ring fly in here. There's a fly in my room, and I don't know. I think it came out of the TV like the ring, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so all these people's got the biggest glasses ever. Holy cow. Can you see each other? I can't even imagine. Why were glasses that big back then? Holy mackerel. Windshields. I'm surprised there's not wipers on them. A couple headlights. Contacts, guys. Okay, so about that Poltergeist. So these people are interesting. I like that they're brought into the movie. And then Zelda's brought in. But that doesn't kind of make sense. Because she's all, this house is clean, but the house wasn't clean. Didn't she know she was standing on concentrated evil? She should have exorcised the whole neighborhood. That's what they should have done in the sequel. You got to up your game in your sequel. So they should have had the whole neighborhood flipping out.
Did you miss me?
She looks like Tootsie. Oh, welcome back.
You didn't wreck the commentary while I was gone, did you?
I told them secrets about you.
Yeah, I was going to say you didn't spread any rumors about me, did you?
All those things you told me not to tell anybody. It slipped. I didn't mean to. It was the beer talking.
Yeah, I'm sure you were like, this was a huge mistake. I don't know why I came on this guy's channel. He's a fucking asshole.
I'd be like, unsub from him. He sucks ass. Come on. Sub to the Death Twitch.
He sucks ass. Yeah, R-rated horror commentary where the beer flows like wine, right? Right through you.
Anyway, so welcome back to Poltergeist. What do you have to say about these paranormal investigators that are now part of the movie?
Is that Creighton Duke?
Is it really?
No,
Are you
he
just
does
jacking
look
me?
just like him, kind of, though. I just pulled that out
Because
my
I would have
ass.
believed you. That's literally the only thing I've ever seen him.
It's a little bit of a running gag I have in these commentaries of just like, oh, hey, is that Creighton Duke? Every time a black dude
Is it
pops
Creighton
up,
Duke?
like,
Okay. Cool.
and here
Creighton
comes the
Duke.
emails. Here
You
comes
mean-
the emails.
You mean the most useless character in probably movie history? Almost.
Yeah, right.
Creighton Duke? That guy?
He's like a cross between Creighton Duke and like Ray Parker Jr. or something.
Yeah, I could see a Ray Parker for sure.
You know, this scene doesn't really hold up that great either, but you know what, though? Must have been so difficult for ILM to pull off that I still give it some fucking respect, you know?
No, I don't even diss it because I know like all those things were shot independently and then layered on each other and composited it in together. Yeah. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
when
I'm
you
sure
watch-
that fucking film was like...
When you watch
Go ahead.
the behind the scenes of a Star Wars, well, they'll have the Millennium Falcon in place, but then just the camera moves all around it. The thing's not actually moving. But
Right.
then in the movie, it looks like it's flying. That's cool. I don't know. You know what? When I was growing up, before I wanted to be a director, I wanted to be in special effects and makeup effects. I used to practice makeup effects on myself. I always would just learn everything about this because this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then it all went out of fashion.
Absolutely, dude. I can understand. Do you remember that
Sucks.
show that used to be on in like the late 80s, early 90s called Movie Magic?
Fucking hell yeah, I do. I was addicted to that show.
Fuck yeah, dude. That shit was awesome. You know,
I would watch it and do my effects while I was watching the show.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it really is incredible what how they pioneered all this sort of stuff in the 80s and stuff and made it so amazing, you know? Like, even with, like, let's say, the original Star Wars, remember, like, you'd see, like, a TIE fighter flying by and have a box around it?
Yeah.
Where you could see that
Right.
didn't even bother me. I still actually kind of like that in a charming sort of way, you know?
Sure. I agree.
Now it's all digitally removed, but, you know.
I'm all for cleaning up your effect, but, like, use practicals if you can.
Yeah, for sure, dude. So now we're getting to know the paranormal team, and they do actually do a pretty good job of making these people a little bit fleshed out too. You know, right in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, that's interesting that they introduce, like, all these characters, and you don't get to know them well, but you feel like you know them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know anything about
Yeah.
these people, but just they're so natural that you just feel like these are people that you could know.
Yeah, because they're kind of a little bit on a stereotype, but I guess the nerdy guy was Spielberg's assistant or something.
Huh.
Let's see. It says. Yeah, this says. I read that the nerdy guy who peels his face off later on was Spielberg's assistant. So, I guess he sort of lucked into the role in some sort of turn of events and ended up being in the movie.
That's cool. I like that I'm still learning stuff about the movie. So how old were you when you first saw it?
I was really young, man. Like, it definitely wasn't. I don't think the year it came out or anything, but somewhere down the line in the 80s, probably a few years after we had HBO and stuff, and it would come on. I would see it. Like, you know, my mom would let me get away with stuff like that, and yeah, I saw it at a very young age, so it definitely impacted me. It scared me, you know. It creeped me out. I didn't really put it into the box of like movies that I love or anything like that in the way that I did with, like, say, Freddy or Jason, because there wasn't really one iconic character you could latch onto. But later on, you know, when I went back and watched it again, I, you know, kind of fell in love with it in a different way. So, very early on, I saw it. Probably like, see, this was what, 84? So it was probably like in the late 80s, 89, 90, something like that.
This one came out in like 82.
Okay. So it probably would have been a little earlier than that, but, you know,
I've
shit, I
pretty
can't
much been
remember.
watching this my whole life, which I love. Everything, you know how we were talking earlier about we're born around the same time and we got to experience the 80s in full. We're really fucking lucky.
Oh, dude,
Like,
we're so lucky.
all of
like,
the best things went down, like, in the 70s and the 80s.
Absolutely, dude. And I'm really
Like
looking forward to kind of exploring some. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. It's your show, man. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I was really looking forward to. I am looking forward to exploring some more '70s horror because I kind of missed that train. You know. I mean, yeah, you've got your Jaws, you've got your Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Those are the big ones. But I'm talking about the more lesser known '70s.
There's a lot
gems. You know.
I like it though, but that's what's great. Like between the '70s and '80s, I'm still finding gems.
Yeah. Yeah, this was 82. I'm sorry. Yeah, so yeah, man, this fucking movie is great. It impacted me as a kid. I remember it scaring the shit out of me in a way that Jason didn't. Because you focused all your fear on Jason or Freddy. This is more of like a what else is out there. So this probably would have been my first experience with like a paranormal concept, you know? Like they didn't have all the paranormal shows out there on TV now that they do now. So this would have been my first sort of concept on ghosts. And then I'm pretty sure I saw Ghostbusters in a theater with my mom, and that was 84, right? So I saw Ghostbusters first, but then I saw that Ghostbusters isn't really scary, creepy, scary. This is more of a straight up horror movie, haunted house movie. So I probably saw this after Ghostbusters in probably like 85 or 86. Just guessing, but that just seems to make sense to me. They should do a Ghostbusters Poltergeist crossover. Call it Geistbusters.
That's the best idea ever. That's the greatest idea. Wish they had done that now. Instead of making either of those re-monies, they should have just did crossover.
Yeah.
Poltergeist versus Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Just don't have fucking Paul Feig directed. It'd be fucking great.
And they could put women in it. I don't give a fuck, but like, just that'd been great. So it would have been like it would have been them going to this specific house or where this house used to be. Then somebody else built another one on top of it, so they got to go exercise it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or some shit.
I mean, that would be
that should have been done. Did you ever see Ghostbusters versus Freddy?
Is that like a fan-made movie online or something?
Yeah, it's a fan film.
Oh,
I think it's either. I might be saying it wrong. Freddy versus the Ghostbusters is probably what it's called, but it's pretty funny, actually.
Dude, I gotta definitely check that out. Is it any good?
For a fan film, yeah. I mean, it's obviously they had no money, you know, and they're filming in their spare time, but it's pretty funny. They tried.
Dude, I love this staircase in this house. That staircase really lends a lot to the tone of this movie because it's all kind of twisted and not symmetrical, which is kind of a weird thing in the 80s because everything in the 80s is very boxy and symmetrical and rational in a way, you know? And,
that looks like Michael Myers back there.
Yeah. But that staircase really stood out to me when I was watching this, prepping for this thing. I was just like, man, that really is the centerpiece of this movie, I kind of feel like. Oh, that in the closet, but
it's
in the pool,
well,
I guess, are the big three set pieces.
I guess between Toby and Spielberg, a couple of pretty smart directors, somebody figured out to just look at it. It's because it's not like any staircase would be. It wouldn't just jut out into the middle of the room. It wouldn't be a big centerpiece. But they knew they had to have a centerpiece to this room that is basically probably. Did they film this in a real house or was this? I think this is a set. I'm sure it was like a sitcom kind of type set with like walls pulled out. Probably
they'd have to do it that way. I mean, the exterior obviously is a real house that exists over like 2 streets over from the ET house or whatever. But I'm sure all this shit on the inside is completely designed, set, and stuff for the needs of the movie. But yeah,
you can tell like somebody thought that out. Like let's give it some kind of character, and having the stairway just do that and be so crazy looking. It's like, of course, a lot of this action is going to take place around that area.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just these things that we're talking about, describing right now, are like things that you do not see at all in the remake. It's just like people just don't have the creative artistry to think of things like that, it seems like, anymore. Everything's just cheap, and they fucking borrow the name and cash in on it, you know?
A lot of it is cash in, and it makes me sad.
It sucks, dude. And it's like these little psychological things that creative people know to throw into movies is what makes them special. That's why this movie's fucking lasted as a fucking classic for so long, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And like, when I watch modern movies and I try to give, because I spend a lot of my time still watching the 70s and 80s movies, it's my favorite. But when I watch the modern stuff, a lot of it's so bland. But when somebody actually does something, I'm like, yeah, that's the way movies used to be. I can tell somebody put thought into this scene and the way that it plays out. It's not like they didn't just set up a camera and rolled and then that was it. Like a lot of these like cash ins. But like, yeah, everything used to be like that back then. Even the bad movies, you can tell that they were trying to do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today it's like set up a camera, push play, and let's do this.
Very fucking generic, dude. Very generic, you know?
Or let's make it found footage so we don't have to spend money.
Okay, dude, this is a perfect example of what we're talking about. This character building scene where the mom and the paranormal investigator woman are having like a moment where they're kind of bonding, connecting, woman to woman. You know, it's very. Mm-hmm. This is a really good scene in terms of just building some like reference between these people in this house in this moment in time. You know, like.
That's what I feel is missing when I watch modern movies. It's like the characters usually don't have a chance to develop because it's like we got to get to the next scare, we got to get to the next action set piece or whatever. It's like just let the characters talk for a while.
Yeah, dude, and Eric, doesn't it just seem so fucking obvious? Like movie making 101, you know?
Yeah. That's why, like, when I do see the rare, I feel like it's rarer than it should be, like a modern movie that kind of plays up the characters, or you can tell that, like, scenes were really thought through, and I'm like, I really want to applaud that because so many people are just lazy now.
So lazy. Look at the lighting in this scene, dude. It's fucking beautiful. Look at the colors in the background. Look at the way her face is lit. It's very old school Hollywood. She's got this, like, Betty Davis eyes going on and shit, you know? It's just very classic.
From what I have seen of it, it was like they just would have shot this in a flat, like, just lit like normal and nothing special, and it just would have been stupid.
There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. Trust. Don't even waste your time, dude. It's a shitbox fucking movie.
Yeah, I wasn't planning to. But that's how I feel about remakes in general, because there's probably a handful of good remakes, and then there's like hundreds of terrible ones that people have long since forgotten and absolutely nobody owns in their collection, and it was just put out to profit for one weekend and that's it.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
It should be
sad.
about art. I understand it's a business, and I know this. A lot of money goes into movie making, but still, take a little bit of time and just think through the script, you know? Just think about it a little bit. Come on.
Yeah, a big part of the problem is that a lot of shit gets rushed to screen. You know,
that's a thing that I always found weird about filmmaking in Hollywood is they'll have an end date before they have a beginning. Before they have anything, they're like, okay, this movie's going to be released on January 23rd, 2018.
Yeah, dude, that's why they get all these fucking new green directors to fucking direct these big name movies, because they know that they can throw them in there. They're competent enough, and they'll do it.
Bully them around to do what they want.
Exactly, dude. And then you come out. I mean, sometimes it works out fine. Usually when it's some sort of original concept, but you know, it's so frustrating, man, because there's so much potential there, and it just gets squandered.
Yeah.
You know. You know, I mean, you can't just throw a Spielberg on a remake, because Spielberg's going to take his time and probably spend like a good 3 or 4, at least maybe 5 years to plot and plan his little, you know, his epic movie, you know, and like they don't want that. They want it churned out fast, you know.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Get making profits off it.
It's like a committee. It becomes like a too much of a democracy or some kind of a business, when there should be, of course there's the business side, but you also have to like remember, you're running the business side in order to fund the artistic side. And if you want to make your money back, like you got to put some effort into it because we could see through like this lazy shit. Cheetos, I wonder if this was a sponsor.
A little product placement there, man.
The way he put that up in the frame.
Oh, the old school Cheetos bag, dude. Remember that shit? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely product placement. But, hey, everybody loves Cheetos, man.
But you know what? Product placement, it depends on how cynically it's done because everybody uses products. So, of course, people drink Coke products. Everybody drinks whatever. People always have products, so it's normal. Yeah. It just depends on how cynically it's put in the movie. Like an Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, what is it, the Dunkachino scene with fucking...
yes.
Oh, my God, dude, that was so bad. I can't believe... How the fuck did they convince Al Pacino to do that sequence with the Dunkachino?
Because I'm sure he got
no
paid
shame,
well.
Dude. No shame.
That whole movie is product placement.
Oh, my God, it's horrible. Adam Sandler is one of the worst.
Every Adam Sandler movie now is product placement. Okay, let's talk about Poltergeist.
Oh, we're still watching the movie? I turned this off already. I just thought we were going to wrap for a little while.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, we can do that. So we're gonna listen to music, right? We're just going to listen to music, not say anything.
Yeah. Fuck it. Let's just turn it into like cocktail hour with Josh and Eric. Fuck it.
We should do it like that, but you know what? We should do like a music show where we just listen to music.
And just get really drunk. And
say
things
we'll do
that
it like
we
a
regret.
Commentary. If it's like a commentary, you have to sync up your own movie. But so we'll do it. We'll listen to our music, but we'll put it so like only we can hear it, and it's literally just silence, and they have to fill in their own music, and listen to us in silence. Listen to music. Worst idea in history. I'm gonna sell this one though.
No, man.
Before this commentary is up.
I like the way you think. Let's pioneer and become internet millionaires.
For silence, and once in a while you just hear us go, yeah. Oh, here's that scene. Here's the face rip.
Yeah. This scene.
Or at least I'm at the face rip.
Epic,
I don't know
man.
if you
it's
are.
Still fucking epic. Even though it looks bad, but it's still
shot. His eyes popping out.
That's a bad. What do you call it? Like a mannequin or whatever, prosthetic piece, whatever.
But I like the transition between when that flash happens. It's a good transition back to reality.
It looks good. It's just not puppeted very well, I think, like.
No, the effect is not puppeted well, but I like the transition back to reality. It was a good flash. They did that good.
I still enjoy it. It's just you could tell there's.
But at the same time, yeah, it is awkward. It does look puppety. But when you're a kid and you see that, it doesn't even matter because you're just like, holy fuck, what's happening?
Yeah. I think back in those days, back in the 80s, dude, like you had nothing to compare it to, so it just was real as fuck,
Right. And that's another thing. What I know, where I keep harping back about, like, where it's so great that we grew up in the 80s, but it's true because literally, like, makeup effects were coming, like, to their peak, and we were getting to watch it, like, peak out. Like, that's great. Like, that's what the Friday the 13th movies were.
Yeah.
Jason was great. The setup was always fun, but like you wanted to see those effects, man, and how they were going to be cooler and cooler in the next movie, even though the damn MPAA got their hands all over that. But still, we were going to see a lot of those effects because we were watching it evolve, and it was great.
I could write an essay about how fucking Part 7 could have been a great fucking movie if they hadn't just edited the shit out of it and fucking dogged it to hell. That fucking producer, what's her name, fucking ruined the movie.
Yeah.
By, taking everything great out of the movie, basically the gore, the special effects. And the director was a fucking special effects guy. It would just make sense,
That's, what, Part 7 is a tragedy.
Whatever his name was a fucking special effects guy, and they fucking cut him off at the knees by trying to censor everything he was trying to do. Fucking idiots.
Why hire a special effects guy to direct a special effects driven horror movie where we're all going to see the latest advanced makeup effects and then cut it all out?
and especially at
They
that
paid for all that work too.
that late stage of fucking Jason movies, it was like people were begging for that shit. You know, that's what they want to see.
Yeah, it's weird because that's what we were going for, and that's what they kept cutting on. Like, why? And I always say, like, you put out a Rambo, and it doesn't matter how much blood and guts.
We have to talk about this scene
movie.
because this is fucking epic shit right here.
Oh yeah, let's. You know what? I want to say something really quick about this scene. I know, like the origin or whatever the haunting has something to do with people like gravestones underneath, and then in the second one they talk about a cult or something that was underneath.
The second one they make it like a Native American thing. This one is just like regular.
Oh, do
people,
they? Okay.
You know?
The thing is, the Native American thing is still subtly in here because, like, coming up right now, you'll hear like native drums in the background a little bit.
Really?
In one of these scenes, I think it's when the people start walking out. It's subtle though. It's subtle to the point that you might question it and be like, "Was that native?" It kind of sounded native, but it's really fast too.
I love those very Ghostbustery effects there. You know.
That's why I always, when I was growing up, I just always thought, oh, this was built on an Indian burial ground. Like,
yeah,
that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that never really is directly addressed at all in this movie, but people seem to remember it that way, and it's sort of a Mandela effect thing where they're like...
Yeah, it's true. Everybody does remember it that way.
Yeah, it's like an Indian burial ground thing, and it's really not about directly involved in the movie in any way, but this was beautifully shot. I guess they filmed the effects with the actress in a flowing dress underwater, and then they reversed it to make it seem, I guess, sort of ethereal or something. But it looks amazing, doesn't it?
I love that stuff.
So fucking cool. I mean, I still love to watch that
Back
scene.
in the day when you had to be like, how do we do this shot? Well, I don't know. Should we put an actress in the pool and film it in reverse? Okay, let's try that.
Yeah, and you can see these people, but you can't really make out exactly. You see some minor details of like who they are in terms of identifying them, but they're just random people walking into the scene, and it's just cool, man. I fucking love that shit. It's great.
I swear, if you go back and listen to it, like when we're not talking a lot of trash, in that scene where you see the people walking by, the light figures, I swear you just hear a little tinge of a native drum start up, and then it stops. It's weird. I feel like somebody, either, I guess it would be Toby Hooper maybe's idea, or I don't know, Stevens. I don't know whose idea that would be. Yeah, you should listen to it and let me know, because I said it's subtle and to such an extent you're almost not sure if that's what you're hearing or if I put that in your head. But that's what I just hear that little bit of a native. I'm like, that's why I always thought.
Yeah. I'm gonna listen to that shit, and I'm gonna text you about it and find out, like,
okay,
if I agree or not, because you could be reading into it. But look, is that Freddy in the background? Oh shit! Hey, one thing I want to mention in this movie that really stuck out to me was like Steven, right, the father, Craig T. Nelson. I really like the way that they handled his whole character arc in this movie, where usually the father, when he's involved in one of these paranormal movies or something, like, he's always deny. He's always being a fucking asshole. Doesn't want anything to do with it, Yeah, I hate that. And like in this movie, Craig T. Nelson's character Steven really has this sort of resignation character arc in this movie, where he just kind of, he just kind of accepts what's happening. I mean, it's stressing him out. He's definitely having an anxiety thing about it, but he's not denying it's really happening. And I just noticed that in a lot of movies, it just seems to be the standard thing where the dad's just like, no, you're imagining it. No, where he's denying the whole thing. And I really hate that. It's just so fucking cliche. And I think that's one of the things that makes this movie awesome, is that, it has its own kind of unique flavor with the characters in that sense,
I literally had that experience when I rewatched Nightmares, the anthology from like 1980 the other day, and the last one is about a giant rat. But the dad doesn't believe anything, and he's such a dick. I hate that. You're right. Like he won't believe anybody. He's like, no, you're out of your mind. No matter what happens, you're crazy. It just pisses you off.
Yeah, because apparently somehow that's like the consensus thought that the movie's supposed to overcome in some way to make it more real, and it's like it's so cliche it doesn't work anymore. You know, like maybe once or twice in older movies, but I think
I've seen a more modern movie where somebody did that. Where somebody. It seemed like the guy was gonna be in denial, and then something happened, and he immediately was like, "Okay, we got a problem." And I was like, "Hey, that's cool." I can't remember which movie
absolutely.
it was. It was a more modern one though. I was impressed with that. I was like, "Oh, cool." We didn't have to go through that whole stupid shit where he denies it. He just immediately was like, "Yeah, we got a problem." I want to say that Craig T. Nelson, when they get Carol Ann back, like right when they get her back and they're in the bathtub.
Yeah.
His acting is so good right there.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
He looks like it's like he's in the moment, so like 100%.
Oh yeah, it's so believable, dude. Even with all that fucking, grape jelly all over them, it's just like still a very believable scene. You buy into it. That's one of the things I noticed when I watched like Poltergeist 2 the other night. I was like, all that's just gone, dude. And like he just becomes a shitty. He abandons the character, and I think that's really a directorial failure on that movie. But it's just like all that warmth and compassion that he has in this movie. He's a very lovable character in this movie, dude. You have to admit, like he's great. You know, he's great.
Yes.
And that scene, you
gotta
just
love
highlighted.
the parents in this movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's just gone in the next one, I mean, he's even got a mullet in the next movie, so if that says anything.
Those movies got... I'm sorry, like, I can watch me some Poltergeist movies, but they got really bad.
Yeah, 3...
The more they went on.
I like how 3 suffers from the skyscraper, like just like Gremlins, they had to put Gremlins in a skyscraper. They had to put fucking Poltergeist in a skyscraper. It's like
it feels so isolated though.
Yeah, we're like, how do we top it? We got to take it out of the neighborhood. We got to put it in a skyscraper in the city. Yeah, that'll work. And it's just like no, it just becomes like really obnoxious.
That's how I feel about like Child's Play 3, which has some alright parts to it, but like it's set in some kind of military academy. It's kind of a strange location for a killer doll.
You're right, absolutely. It's the curse of the third sequel. But fucking Jason Takes Manhattan. They fucking did that shit too. It's like, well, what's the obvious choice? We'll take him and put him in the fucking city. We'll put him in. Take him out of their element.
They really got out of control with that.
Sorry to run over you with my comment there, but that matte painting is amazing, dude. That graveyard.
I think that I'm like 15 seconds ahead of you, but I'm just gonna leave it. I don't want to mess with anything. It's fine.
Oh yeah, you might be right. I think my stream might have lagged a little bit, so no worries. It's all good.
No,
doesn't really matter. Anything. So I remember this guy, the fucking realtor guy. He was in Return of the Living Dead, right?
1 and 2, yeah.
James Karen, right? Was his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great in fucking Return of the Living Dead. Amazing in that movie.
I love that movie.
So fucking good,
so
man.
Much.
So fucking good.
And the second one's funny. I like the third Return of the Living Dead. I think that's probably about where I stopped. Though.
Yeah. I like 1 and 2. The third one,
I only like it because I like Mindy Clark in that movie a lot. So it's that kind of deal.
That's one of those movies I have to really look for the value in it to enjoy it, but that's just me. So here we have Zelda Rubinstein, a.k.a. Tangina. Did you ever have sexual fantasies about Tangina, dude? Don't lie.
Oh, now you're going to tell my secrets. I see how it is. The thing is, this whole character is wasted, though. It's all wasted because she's wrong. She says the house is clean and she's wrong.
That was a mistake in this movie for sure.
It's like, I like the character. She's cool, but she was wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to feel about her.
Yeah, they did undermine her.
Nice
with that.
try. I wish she could. I mean, I guess she helps them get her daughter back. So that's an accomplishment. That's something. At least they didn't lose the kid. You know. She's cool though. Like she's just wandering around.
I think a lot of people compare her to like being the Yoda of this movie, which I think is a little bit of a stretch. But yeah, that did bug me. It was like, so she solves the problem, she leaves, and then that whole crazy ending happens, and it was just kind of like, it just sort of cancels out everything she just did, right?
Yeah, but like at least they got the kid back, I guess, because if otherwise they wouldn't have without her help. But yeah, she didn't clean the house though. She didn't clean the neighborhood or whatever the whole problem is.
It kind of pokes some holes in the whole all-knowing, clairvoyant thing that she had going on.
Maybe they tricked her. They acted like they bailed, but really they were just hiding out. All the spirits came back and were like, "Fuck, psych."
Yeah, I'm sure we could do some mental gymnastics to fall in line with that line of logic, but I do. She is a very big, memorable character of this movie, though. What's that?
I said evil is tricky.
They are tricky.
I mean,
man.
I assume we're dealing with evil here because they kidnapped a fucking kid.
Are they? See, I always wondered that though. Are they dealing with like straight up evil or just pissed off spirits? They're just kind of like. I
think it's
revenge.
a little of both. I think it's like they angered spirits, and some of them are just bad spirits.
Dude, don't tell me you would make out with Zelda, dude. She's so fucking... She's sexy as fuck. Look at those blue blockers she got on, dude. Man, that's fucking some hot shit.
I can't even entertain this idea.
She'd be like... Dude, she'd be like, your cock is clean.
And I'd be like, you wrong about that, bitch. Better go see a doctor. Good luck exercising those demons. Shit's forever. Wow. Well, you know what? That's your fault. You brought that there. It's your fault.
Because she's a shorty, she probably worked extra hard to please you, you know?
I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know what? It'd be like playing tetherball, and I don't like this conversation anymore.
Oh, shit, I made Eric uncomfortable. I didn't think it was possible.
I didn't think it was possible either. You bring Zelda Rubinstein into this, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know I had a boundary, but there it is.
Yeah, well, welcome to R-rated horror, motherfucker. This is how it goes on this channel.
Yeah. I like it.
Anything is possible over here.
You know what? Let's push it then. Fuck it. Let's push those boundaries. So, what is she like? 3.5 feet?
She strikes me as someone that's probably like 4'5" or something, you know. She's not a midget. She's just really short, you know.
Almost.
She is rocking the pearl necklace though.
You'd have to get way down on the ground, like you're like trying to do the limbo to have sex with her. She's so short. You gotta get down there, and I don't know.
Yeah, but
I guess you could just stand there and.
She'd be easier to manipulate, you know, just fucking, you know, less body mass to fucking throw around. So, you know, you can manhandle her and shit.
Are we talking the actress or the character? Because if you're fucking the character, she's got psychic powers you can use to tingle your taint, I guess.
Oh my God, there you go. She
do some kinky stuff.
See, the thing is, you wouldn't have to tell her your deepest, darkest desires because she'd already know. That's what I like, dude.
She'd be like,
you don't even have to fucking say it.
Fucker.
She just knows what you need, what you want, you know?
Exactly. She might be the best lover ever. Wow. I would still put a bag on her head, though. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm a bagger.
Hey, she might be better looking with her hair flowing, like down around, you know, flowing down.
Sure. You keep telling yourself that.
I mean, come on, man. Like,
good luck with that.
If somebody told you like, all right, this chick, she looks a little old. She's shorty, but she's gonna rock your world like no other woman ever has. Would you fucking like give her one night to fucking blow your mind, or would your
In the dark,
pre ideas of like what she'd be like, or your like lack of attraction to her like cut you off, you know?
Yeah, I think so. It depends on how many tequilas I've had.
Yeah, dude, just
if
get
we've
fucking...
both been knocking back some shots,
you'd have to
she could crawl under the bar and just start...
Dude, you have to fucking eat the worm first and then just go into sexual bliss.
Oh, man.
You know?
I'm going to make her eat the worm. Zelda, rest in peace. God bless you, but yeah.
I just feel like, God damn it, that little woman didn't blow my fucking mind, you know?
I didn't know I could have multiple orgasms, but...
Exactly.
You learn something new about yourself with a girl like that.
You never know what can happen, man.
The way I look at my life, I look at it like pre-Zelda and after having met Zelda. Because I'm not the same person that I was before.
Dude, you know who I always wanted to fucking have sexual relations with is that ghost from Ghostbusters?
The blowjob ghost?
Yeah, dude. I think that was like one of my first sexual fantasies as a little boy.
I can't believe that's in a movie. I love the fact that everybody that had to review that scene was so coked up they all passed it through into theaters. Every single executive was like, yeah, that's a good scene.
You know what's crazy, dude, is that I was 7 and I had no idea what that even meant. I mean, I knew it was a sexual thing, but I didn't even know what a blowjob was, so I didn't...
I was in the same boat. Like, I knew it had something to do with sex, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I just knew it was inappropriate. I was like, hell yeah. Get it, dude. And now when I watch that, would you like just accept that?
Yes, absolutely, dude. Absolutely I would.
What if it's like a tranny ghost?
Shit, I'm an equal opportunity employer over here. As long as they didn't as long as it wasn't like the old lady in the library, then it's fine, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to get no ectoplasm all over my junk. Whatever. I guess I'll. You know what? You already got me having sexual relations with Zelda Rubinstein. I guess I'll have some ghost fellatio. It'd
have to be a very very sexy ghost. You know, it'd have to be a very sexy.
You would hope so. Can't you change your appearance and be sexier, or are you just stuck? Like, if you're just ugly in life, are you an ugly ass ghost too? That sucks.
Shit, dude, that's a deep question. I'll have to think about that one. I'll have to meditate on that shit.
For real. Because then you'd have to search out, like, you have to be like ghost hunters, and you're just looking for a hottie. You have to wade through all the ugly ghosts. You're like looking for a good one.
You're like going through the obituaries, looking for a hot, looking for a 10. Nah, shield, dude. How can I conjure this bitch up to fucking give me some fucking ghost head?
Get you the Ouija board out. Try and hook up, like.
Oh my god, dude! This is one of those commentaries that I hope none of my family listens to.
Oh no,
that's a good thing.
So sorry.
You know what?
To
Fuck
family.
It. Who cares?
I'm sorry to the James.
Getting blowjobs by ghosts and having sex with midgets and these are the things guys think about. Well, at least guys like me.
All the time.
Did you know?
That's not a stretch.
Did you know this movie has no body count? 0 body count. Nobody dies in this movie. Which is another amazing testimony to this fucking movie being awesome.
People almost die a lot, though.
Almost die, but nobody really dies. There's dead people in the movie. Extreme
to, like, it's as close as you can get to a death scene without, like, the tree eating the kid and all these things.
The guy peeling his face off and
it's
all that
pretty
shit.
Horrific. Yeah, it's like you're right. You don't even notice that there's not even really any kills because it's like so many times you think these guys are dead. You're like, oh my god, he got him.
Yeah, this is more of a suspense movie than it is a gore movie or anything like that, you know? Which is probably why it was able to squeak by with a PG rating. Because there's no actual
But when
death.
it happens, it's intense.
Actually, I lied. There is one death. Can you guess who it was?
You mean the actors? Poor actors.
No, the little Tweety bird.
The
that
goldfish?
died at the beginning.
Oh, it was a Tweety bird. I don't know why I thought it was a goldfish. Nah, I almost had that one. Yeah, dude, they put in so much effort into this light. Like, they put a lot of effort into just this light coming through the door.
And I love that they just did it with like an aquarium and some like
Some
really
aquariums and some
bright
smoke
lights.
machines, but they spent like time on it.
Yeah, it's
They had
beautiful.
so many aquariums and like they had certain kind of like pigments in the waters,
Yeah.
and stuff.
It's really good. I love that effect. It's really really good.
So what's her name? Her character's name?
It's Zelda Rubinstein.
No, what Tangine?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Tangina?
Yeah, the actress name is Zelda, which is crazy because it could have just been her name in the movie. But yeah, it's Tangina.
Yeah. Tangina, okay. Yeah, Tangina. I'd give me some Tangina action. We get, you know what? You know they use KY jelly in this movie.
Yeah, Tangina,
So-
more like Tangina, bro.
Oh man.
What? Oh god. But these are really cool. Like, as she throws the tennis balls through, and Ray Parker Jr.'s down there waiting, and you know, it's a really simple way to explain something that could have been really overly complex and stupid. You know,
Yes.
they just have a rope, which is fucking great. You know, because we can understand that right away. You know, they're just gonna go in and get her.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's ballsy.
Yeah, I love the scene. She's like, "I'm gonna go," and the husband's like,
Yeah.
"Okay," and then they have that moment in the light. You know,
She's
where
like, you go.
really,
Okay.
they have the ultimate expression of like their love for each other and stuff before she goes in, and she's like, "Don't let me go," and he's like, "Never." I love that. It's just fucking amazing, you know. I almost teared up a little bit, man.
And the fact that they're potheads makes this even better.
Yeah, I wonder if they were.
Imagine if they were high in every scene.
I wonder if they were high as shit during that moment. You know?
Every time. Yeah, between every scene they were just puffing joints, and then they're like, "This shit's crazy. I know. Spark that shit."
Do what you gotta do, you know.
I know. I can't deal. Like, roll an extra fat one, man. I got to go into the light, man. I'm getting high as fuck. Ray Parker.
I mean, it doesn't really. I mean, if you want to get scientific about it, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's obviously very metaphysical, but why would a rope be like make any sense at all in the scene? But I guess they had to just tie it to reality somehow, you know.
Yeah, it's a bridge between worlds. Ew, that's sick. Apparently the nether worlds or whatever, the spirit worlds is really slimy. Ectoplasm. Ectoplasmy. I need another burr. So Josh has been sucked into the netherworld.
I'm right here, motherfucker. See, yeah, this is my favorite scene.
He's probably
I think this might
getting
be.
it on with Zelda.
I had to go. I had to go fucking rub one out real quick about Zelda, and then come back. So that was the fastest beat off I ever had.
Record time.
That's just how fucking
impressed.
turned on she makes me.
You've beat my time. You are the master.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's great is like even though shit gets like kind of chaotic, it still follows. Like you can follow it, you know, like it. It'd be really easy for this to become a fucking hot mess, but they really pulled it off well,
Yes.
you know.
They didn't show us inside the spirit world, right? That's probably where they saved.
I'm glad they didn't.
Confusion and time. A lot of time and confusion was saved from. We don't need to see that.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they didn't show us because I like the fact that there's a little mystery there. It just adds to the movie, you know? And she doesn't even talk about what she saw when she was over there, when she comes back or anything. And I like that. I like that it's just kind of kept a secret, you know? Like mysterious. Great shadow work here, man.
That's cool.
I mean, all these scenes could be so flat and boring, but they make them interesting with the shadows and stuff. I have a feeling that is very Spielberg influenced. This is where Tobe Hooper had the day off and fucking Spielberg walked in.
Had the day off.
They just patted him on the back and fucking, you know, gave him a fucking coupon for a fucking back massage and said, hey, let me handle this shit and take a day off, you know. But these are the iconic scenes of the movie, I feel like, you know? I don't know. The big head, I'm a little disappointed with the big skull head. I don't really think that was absolutely necessary to have in the movie. As a scare moment, I mean...
I like it okay. I like his reaction. I think they wanted some kind of big monster.
Yeah, big finish.
For this climax or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's where the fucking Ghostbusters could have popped in and fucking took care of business, dude.
That'd been awesome. I'll support that idea.
Yeah, we're fucking, you know, what is his name? Fucking Egon's like, I'm terrified beyond the capacity of rational thought, and then just fucking pulled out his proton pack. Would have been fucking great, you know? But this thing you mentioned before is
right
really
here.
fucking... Yeah, this is good shit, dude. I really fucking feel this is... the one gripe about this is I think he would have been more concerned with his daughter than his wife, you know? Would have been, I think, more of a natural sort of response to the situation, but...
Right. I agree.
But beautiful moment, though. Like, it's almost like a rebirth or something, you know?
It's almost like... Well, I mean, they went through all that trouble to get the kid, but he almost... Yeah, it's like he doesn't even... Yeah, we got her. That's cool. He's pretty casual.
Yeah,
about
I mean... yeah, right? But you get the feeling that it's just like he almost lost everything that mattered to him, but he got it all back, you know?
I would be flipping my shit right now. If I was this character, I wouldn't even know what was real from what was not real right now. I'd be like... losing my mind. What is happening? I lost my baby, and then my fucking wife went into the light. Now they're back in the tub. What is happening? There's a midget outside.
Look at Tangina, dude. That's how she would have looked when I was done with her, dude. That's how she would have looked when I was done with her.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh my god.
You bang her so hard that
why am I so obsessed with that?
Her hair comes out of a bun. Because you got a secret. Crush.
I have a secret
And
fetish
it's
for
adorable.
short ladies.
Look, you couldn't help yourself at all.
I could.
So you tried to make it a joke, but you really feel this way.
Hey.
And that's okay. Like, it's okay.
I'm not
I
going to
understand
deny.
You probably have
You
her
figured me
poster
out,
on
man.
the wall.
You figured me out. I got outed on YouTube for getting...
Dude, I've seen weirder fetishes. So.
So you were saying earlier that the gray streaks in the hair, like fucking Freddy. What was it? They did that same thing with Heather Langenkamp and
Yeah.
Was it the first Nightmare? First Nightmare
and
or second one?
3 and 7 they did it.
Yeah. I like that, dude. I think gray hair in the ladies can be sexy. You know?
Can be. You know what I'm happy about is like they solve their problems and this is the happy end of the movie and it's like everybody lives happily ever after. This is great. I love it. Just waiting for those credits.
I kind of find it a little jolting to go from happy ending to just total absolute nightmare. A little jolting. I think maybe their transition could have been a little smoother or something, but
I like it.
Fine.
I like it.
That's nitpicking for me personally, but
But well, I mean, I like it, but I don't like the choice of these characters. Like their decisions in this scene make no sense. They're trying to get out of there. I would be trying to get out of there as fast as possible, but they're like, "Hey, let me put the kids back to bed and go take a bath, do my hair."
Yeah,
in this fucking haunted house. Like what?
They're very, very convinced that I guess everything's over with. But yeah, I mean, I think a normal person would be like packing. Everybody would have a box in their arms, like desperately sweating, trying to get all this shit out.
The only reason that they have even been there is because they were trying to get their daughter back. Once you got your daughter back, it's like out. Just get out.
Oh yeah,
out. Leave all the stuff. I wouldn't even care. I'd like, whatever is most valuable, grab it. But we're leaving everything else. We're out of this place. It took my daughter once. I'm not staying.
They would have been in the Holiday Inn already, dude. They would have been there. But I do think it's interesting that they chose like the hair dyeing thing as sort of like a bridge between the two segments of the movie, like because it kind of speaks to the characters. Like she just wants to fucking.
All that shit.
It is kind of metaphorical if you look at it, I mean, why do they have her dyeing her hair,
Well, they wanted her in the bath in some way. One way or another, I'm sure.
Yeah, that might have been part of it. But it's like she's trying to push down what the reality of what happened by trying to go back to her former self with the hair dyeing scene. And then that's when shit just goes fucking nuts, man. I mean, I could be reading into that a little bit, but that's how I kind of view it. Is like,
I never thought of it, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
perspective. I just thought it was the stupidest thing ever. Like, I don't get why they're still in this house.
I have a question.
Don't just put your kids back to bed where the tree tried to eat your fucking son, the light took your daughter. Like, what? You don't just then leave them alone again in that room.
Like these kids seem very non-traumatized right now.
Right. Yeah. These people would all have like 1,000-yard stare, and they'd never be the same again.
Yeah, dude. They would be very like fucking
damaged for life.
PTSD. You know what I'm saying? Like they would be stressed.
They're like, ain't no thing.
Even the
dog go dye my hair and take a bath.
A dog would be fucking going nuts in all this fucking crazy shit, dude. And they leave the clown. Dude, that thing would be in the garbage can behind the house.
I know, I would have burned it.
But this is where the clown's going to shine, though. Yeah.
That clown did... You know what? It still scares me. It did and it does. Because I don't... They're not... There's nothing... There's nothing nice about him.
No, he that's a fucking sick, twisted clown right there, dude. I love that Scary Movie 2 spoofs on that, and they have the clown get ass raped underneath the bed. Fucking classic, dude. I love it.
I think I blocked that out of my memory, but you just brought it all right back. Rushing right back.
Yeah, dude. You'll have to. Look, the doll with a severed head, man, that's good shit, too.
Yeah, that's really strange. I like it. But she's like twisted now. She's a little twisted since she came back. She's not quite the same. A little evil.
Well, what's interesting I noticed is like when all the crazy shit starts happening again here real soon, is that she's not affected the same way everybody else is because she's...
Fuck no. She just spent like 2 weeks on the other side.
Yeah, she's a fucking veteran, dude. She's a veteran of the fucking other side,
I know.
She's been up to the light and back again.
Flipping about. It's just a lot of static, really. It's just no big deal.
It's just a bunch of static. That's what we have to look forward to when we die. It's just an old fucking 80s TV set.
She's just relaxing. You know that she just smoked one.
Oh, yeah, dude. She's probably been fucking...
Is that why they're too chill?
Dude, this whole thing was...
Is that the whole reason?
Dude, this whole thing was probably just a big acid trip from the parents. Just like they're,
Oh, right. They had a flashback.
They just dropped acid. They've been laying in bed the whole time. And this whole thing never happened. They just had a fucking bad acid trip.
Can you imagine if that was like... If that was the way the movie ended? Like, the whole thing was just them tripping. I'd be like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
It's either genius or The worst thing ever.
It's just one big cautionary tale against drugs and alcohol.
Right.
Just
It's
say
just like-
no. It's like it's a whole Reagan era. So, Nancy Reagan, it was all about the fucking don't do drugs, just say no.
See, now here's where she's looking pretty cute, actually, in her jersey.
She's so
I'll admit
pretty, but
this.
her legs are so skinny.
She's got 80s legs.
80s legs. That's
She's got
the thing.
80s leg syndrome.
You just made up something, man. You just made that shit up.
Yeah, I can say anything is 80s.
Panty shot.
What is she thinking? What the fuck is she thinking? I don't get it.
This is a great scene, though. This is really, really cool. I mean, this was not easy to do. And I think it came off really seamless and really fucking terrifying,
Awesome. Look at it. Oh, snap. She's on the ceiling. Yeah, and like, she's so helpless, and her kid's being attacked, and what she wants to do is go help her kid. She's all helpless on the ceiling. Can you imagine that shit? I would so be out of this house. Fuck this house. I would have burned it down.
Dude. I like how Carol Ann's just like, more of this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, they do this all the time on the other side.
Yeah,
it's so lame.
like she's just like watching an old TV show that she's seen like 20 times before, sitting there bored, no concern for
She's
her
like-
family at all. Excuse me.
You think the other side would be really cool, but all they do, it's just a bunch of static and like pranks. Like they just prank humans. That's what they do all day. Just prank humans.
That's a great shot. That's a fucking great shot, dude. that hellhound or whatever the fuck it is. I love that. That's very
there it is.
Ghostbusters as well.
That's underwater too. They did some kind of puppetry. It looks like underwater. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be.
Or something.
Back to the stairwell.
I like that it all goes insane, but I wish they had found a better way than the characters just being stupid and going back in the house.
Yeah. It doesn't really follow in their character arcs very well. Like
It absolutely
You think they
it
would-
throws the arc away altogether. It's kind of fucked up. Maybe they could have reworked this a little bit. Maybe this all could have been in the whole other part with the psychic team and shit. They could have made all that.
You think there would have been a little bit of the team hanging around to see if there's any residual sort of poltergeisting, ghosting going on?
No, not even
fact,
hanging around. Not even hanging around after. Just like they should have just made this part of the other climax instead of having like two climaxes.
I do love this pool stuff though. This pool stuff is really
Yes.
gross and creepy though.
It is gross. Ooh.
Even with the the real cadavers and shit. I mean,
She was concerned about being electrocuted during this scene. And I understand that.
I would be too, dude. I mean, come on. I mean, it would have been so easy.
That's why she made Steven Spielberg get in the water with her or first or something to prove that like you wouldn't die.
Yeah, I guess he just said, she was really apprehensive and he said, "Look, I'll get in there with you." And he just went into the water and he's like, "Anything that happens to you will happen to me." He gave her the confidence to do the scene. And I guess they didn't tell her that these were actual real skeletons. I'm sure that they took just,
Ew.
bleached
That's
skeletons and made them up. But that's still fucked up, dude. It's still
gross.
fucked up,
Ew. I kind of question, I don't know how real that is, but it doesn't make sense, like, why they would need to use real ones. They did all those other effects.
Do you think it could be part of the lore of the movie?
Did they just run out of money? And they're like, okay, all we can get is real skeletons.
I guess they said that it's cheaper than getting the fabricated skeletons or something. I guess maybe those bodies got donated in some way or something, and they just... I don't know, dude. I don't know, but...
Yeah, I know. I've heard the story.
Yeah. I think it's kind of gross that they would do that to a
I think so too.
The remains, but I don't know. It could be part of the lore.
I'd be pretty pissed about that after the fact. Yeah, if I was the actor, it was like after whatever, like, those were real bodies, right? I'd be like, fuck you all. I'm suing your asses.
If you ever wonder what the inside of a vagina looks like, now you know.
Because that's a giant vagina? Oh my god, that's the villain of this movie?
Because it's all about the badge.
It's just all about evil vaginas. It's about, I don't know, it's like reverse birth. They're trying to suck the kids back into the vagina. It's a reverse birth. I guess that's what a monster vagina would do. Wow. This is what it's come to.
Fucking eat you alive, man.
What a shitty day this person is having. All these people. Oh my god. There's no recovering from this.
Why would he go back to work or do whatever the fuck he had to do that night? Like, why would he just stay with his fucking family? Wouldn't that make sense after a huge traumatic event?
Yeah.
To not leave your family,
And why would he go back to work selling haunted houses to people that knows
exactly.
are haunted?
He probably, dude, I would say he probably went to the bar and just fucking.
Right. I'm sure he said I'm going to work, but he went to the bar for 10 hours.
He needed a man break from this fucking fucked up family
with his boss.
And shit.
Him and his boss went to the bar. I like this, how the bodies start popping up. Why would they do that? Hey, you need a climax to your movie, so just have bodies pop up out of nowhere.
I like it. It's cool. It's scary.
No, I like it too. I love it. It's iconic. I just think it's funny. If they're just pulling all the stops now. It's like, pull all the stops.
And I like how the guy who owns the business, the developer guy, is in denial till the very end where he sees the fucking house collapse. And then he just realizes that he just totally fucked up, And I guess in the next movie it's just the whole subdivision is like a ghost town, a dusty old ghost town. So it's like everybody just fucking got wind of what happened and moved out. Absolutely,
yeah. That guy, he never really gets his comeuppance, does he?
Nah, not really.
Except sure, everybody abandoned the neighborhood, but he should have something more. Like the ghost should have got to him specifically for being the greedy one.
Yeah, right. Like they would have identified him as the This is some good stuff, man. I like all these action sequences and stuff. It really is it's just nuts. Everything just fucking hits the fan.
It is nuts. You're right, and it's good that the movie ends so insane with a house imploding in on itself. It's so unreal by the end. But they took their time to get there, though. They didn't rush to that kind of thing.
And this effect is really fucking awesome, dude. I love it. I love the house implosion. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, it's cool. Back in the day.
I love those weird 80s houses designs, But it's just, it's really fucking cool. It just all fucking gets vacuumed down into a portal to hell or something, And he's just like, oh, shit. And then he just he has a moment of collapse where he just realizes he fucked up, He's responsible for this.
I would not even believe what I was seeing. And even when I looked around and everybody else was like, I saw the same thing, I'd still be like, that didn't happen.
He's all like, crying shit.
I drank too much.
He's like, I shouldn't have done that meth. God damn it. Seeing shit. It's not even there. And the daughter, she's just probably fucking Dominic Dunn's character. What's her name? Diane? is it Diane? Oh, whatever. Anyway, she's just like she must have been like, what the fuck is going on? She just rolls up in a Trans Am and all this fucking. Right? Her house is like being sucked into a portal to hell. She's got no questions, right? She's got no questions at all.
Well, I mean, she knows something's up. She knows like. Because she knows the place was haunted, right? But she's like, I left you guys alone for a day. I come back and the house is sucked into nothingness. Like, what the fuck, guys? Yeah, what did you do?
She's like, nice going, Dad. You fucked us all real good, Dad. Thanks.
Good job, guys. Did you guys get high before you thought of this one?
Yeah, exactly. I do like this little end scene where he just pushes the TV out. Like, that's a great way to end the movie.
Fuck that.
You know, and it holds on. This Holiday Inn's still there. I fucking Google mapped it. It's still there, dude.
I did too.
You fucking nerd.
That was a nerd alert, wasn't it? Shit. I failed the nerd test.
I do love that though. It's a great way on a comical note to end the movie. You know.
I'm surprised he doesn't just pick it up and throw it over the edge. That's what I would do.
And a nice big sweeping crane shot. Like, why would they? Yes. Most people wouldn't think to end a movie on a big sweeping crane shot like this, but they do.
Of a Holiday Inn, because they were probably a sponsor.
Yeah. Speaking of product placement, Jesus Christ. Epic fucking movie, dude. So much fun. Look at Kathleen Kennedy. Had her fucking tits dipped in this shit early on, man. She is definitely a big fucking Lucasfilm. You know, she was in deep with fucking Spielberg and Lucas, man. She was like, I think she started out as like an assistant or something, like in the early days.
Oh, yeah, I've heard the name before. For show.
Yeah,
I always think about that. Like, this is a crane shot. It starts out like it just looks normal, and then it pulls back. It's like all these cars were there, so you know they had like a really extended crane too.
Yeah, I mean they went all fucking. What is it? What is that old school fucking the movie with the big sweeping crane shot in the beginning? I'm drawing a blank. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, I mean that. Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane's the one I was thinking of with the big sweeping shot in the beginning of it. They usually reserve those big sweeping crane shots for the beginning shot of a movie, but it's interesting in juxtaposition that they started in like deadpan on a fucking TV set, almost like Halloween 3 style, and then they end with a big sweeping crane shot at the end. Very, very cool, man.
The whole movie's cool. I don't see any Toby Hooper in it, but I hope that he's in there. Is all I can say.
I think that he is. I think that he really did.
He might be some of those effects, maybe.
I think that he was the bones of the directorial, you know, piece of the movie. But I think what happened was Spielberg came in and just kind of like guided his hand in a certain direction. I'm sure it was an amazing learning experience for him as a director, you know?
You know what I was thinking about just yesterday? It was like, I would love for Steven to do another full-on horror movie. Some kind of horror, like a Jaws. No, I'm not saying another shark movie, but like, dip in the genre again.
I always kind of thought of Jurassic Park as a horror movie. It just wasn't marketed as one, you know?
That movie is everything. That's everything. That movie is everything.
Absolutely, dude. Incredible fucking movie, dude. Incredible. But it definitely is a horror movie in my mind in a certain way. Like,
yeah, I remember being pretty. It was intense for even I was like 13 or whatever when it came out. Even for a 13-year-old, it was intense.
Hell yeah, it was, dude. Hell yeah. So anyway, we made it through. We made it through. Dude. That went by so fucking fast, and that's a testament to how fun it is to hang out with you, but it is to watch this fucking movie because it's just so so awesome. So, what would you say? Like, let's do final thoughts on the movie. You go first. Like, what's your synopsis of the movie in terms of like your feelings about how it impacted your life? What do you think about it?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up with this literally as young as I can remember having started watching horror movies, probably around 3 or 4. Like, I grew up with this movie my whole life, and it stands the test of time because of how much soul and passion was put into it back in the fucking day when they cared. It was great. I will watch this movie pretty much anytime somebody wants to put it on. It's cool by me.
Right on. How would you rate it out of 5 stars? If you had to.
Well, let's see. I don't even remember what I rated it in my review, but I know it's going to be up there, and I'd probably give it it's going to be a 4 and something. It's right up there. I'll probably give it a 4.25 stars. I probably said something different in my review. I don't even remember. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's definitely a 4.25, 4.5, out of 5.
It's right there. Yeah, it's getting there.
This is one of those movies that's, was one of my first horror movies. Definitely my first haunted house movie growing up. Scared the shit out of me. Made a lasting impact on me. And I definitely appreciate it more as an adult than I did as a kid. But, because it was, weird because I never really knew whether or not to worship it as a Spielberg film or as, some weird hybrid. Or so there was always that question, who really directed this movie? But
yeah, that makes it weird, but it makes it unique. Between that and the whole curse angle, these things make it more unique and it stands out over the course of time because you can always nobody's going to care about the remake or anything about how it was made, but people will always talk about who really directed Poltergeist or was there a curse or not.
What's weird about this movie is I always think of it as 50-50. It's 50% horror, 50% the nostalgia and the looks and the feel and the tone of the time that really appeal to me as well. I really love that whole anything that kind of has that E.T. feel to it and that classic Spielbergian feel to it. Usually gets aces in my book, so I'm gonna agree with you. 4.25 to 4.5. I'd say it's definitely 4.5. A 4.5 stars out of 5. And an amazing movie, a good time, and a fucking blast. I mean, so much to talk about in this movie. No matter how many times you watch it, it's a fucking good time. And even if the effects might be a little dated and there's some weird controversy surrounding it, it just adds to the flavor. And it's a blast. It's fun. I mean, fucking kudos
it
to this
is.
movie.
And I used to work at a video store. And these teenagers would come in and ask me for suggestions, and I was like, check out Poltergeist. And they were like, really? I'm like, yeah, check it out. And they liked it. They're like, what else you got?
It definitely is a wild ride, man. And they know how... It's one of those wild ride movies where they knew how to integrate character and the wild ride together in a way that made it very cohesive and very immersive. And relatable to audiences.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Relatable. Especially at the time that it came out. I think it was a little more relatable. The whole suburban, perfect atmosphere was definitely more Reaganomics kind of thing than it is today.
Yeah, dude. I mean, for sure. I mean, and... It gives it its charm, and it's one hell of a fucking movie. So, dude, thank you so much for coming on my channel to do a commentary with me. I think this movie was your suggestion, but it was fucking perfect suggestion. I think we threw around a couple ideas, but this one was just we landed on this one. We were like, yeah, let's do that one because it deserves some respect and some. I mean, we didn't really respect it. We kind of treated it like a cheap whore or something. We smacked it around a little bit. We had a little fun with it.
Nothing but respect the whole way through, even when I was.
That's
even
what's
when
cool
I was
about
riding the Zelda Express.
That's what's cool about this movie, though, is you can respect it as a fucking serious movie, but still have fun within the realm of watching it and goof around and have a good time and make fun of it for what it is. And excellent choice, dude. So thank you so much. And.
No problem.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
for having me. It's been awesome.
Yeah, dude, I would love to have you back sometime for another movie, and we'll fucking rip it up and drink some more shitty beers,
We'll make it a cheesier movie next time.
Hell yeah, dude. Good idea. Great idea.
Cheese it up. 80s cheese it up somehow.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude. we'll do it again. So until next time, cheers. And Eric?
Later, peoples. Don't be afraid of ghosts or who you're going to call. Or I don't, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Real good, dude. Real
smooth,
good.
right?
Thanks. Yeah. All right, dude. Awesome. Till next time.
Later.
Cheers. Later.
Guys.
All right, guys. There you go. There's another awesome commentary in the bag. Thank you so much again to Eric Harrison from the Death Twitch. Check them out on YouTube for sure. And we will definitely be back next Friday with another movie. I think we might be headed back to the Friday franchise. So definitely come check us out for that. And also, as always, you can check out my artwork at joshjamescreative.com or facebook.com/joshjamescreative for Dan Donnelly, facebook.com/artistrecruits. And yeah, as always, stay awesome and stay R-rated.
Rated R.